Hi, I'm Angela Prentner-Smith, Managing Director of This Is Milk, and this is episode 1 of Angela's Talks. We're going to talk today about what is this woke bullshit psychological safety anyway? So, in a nutshell, psychological safety is the feeling that you go into an organization and you are safe to speak up, you are safe to challenge the status quo, safe to raise risks without the fear of dismissal, without the fear of retribution. And why is this important? Well, the science tells us that it's important. Amy Edmondson has been cataloging, researching, reviewing the concept of psychological safety for several decades now. And psychological safety is the number one predeterminant of a high performing team. So every business wants high performing teams, and the science tells us that the one thing that you need to focus on above all else, not in isolation, is psychological safety. The difficulty with it and why it seems to come into this kind of woke bullshit type thing is that it's very difficult and it's very much about things that you do as leadership, as management, as your organization to influence the culture, to influence how people feel, to influence how people operate together. And that, of course, is very difficult because every single person is different and it is hard to every day come into work and think about what you're doing that is impacting this ephemeral thing that you can't see called psychological safety. However, there are tools and techniques to make this more grounded, more operational, that you can do right now to firstly understand your team's psychological safety, and then secondly, to do things to improve it. So, if I was to give you kind of my top tips in terms of how or what to do about improving the psychological safety in your organization, it would be firstly to measure it. Amy Edmondson has designed 7 questions that have been tried and tested and benchmarked through organizations worldwide, including tops like Google and Facebook and Yahoo, and really big organizations like this that give you an immediate litmus test of how your team feels in terms of psychological safety. So you can measure it. If you can measure things, you can manage them. So that's the first thing. So, firstly, is do a measurement. The second thing you need to do is start to open up the dialogue around why people feel certain ways and understand who it is in your organization that maybe isn't feeling as safe. And by doing that, you can then start to reflect on how your leadership or your management style is impacting the people that you manage. This isn't a one off exercise. This isn't there's no short, sharp intervention to fix psychological safety. It is a thing that every single day you as a leader have to get up and reflect on and do. The second thing that I would advise is actually just to do your own research. There's a lot of information online in books um, that will give you tools and techniques that you can surreptitiously just bring into your management practice. Some of those, if they wanted some to take away right now, is about addressing your own vulnerability. So, by standing up in front of your team and saying, I made a mistake, you are making it easier for every single person in that team to bring you a problem or to own up to a mistake. And why do you want that? Because if people are not publicly comfortable in raising mistakes, it means you can't fix them, right? And we talk about things like failure is good. Well, no, failure isn't really good, but it's about learning. So, and if we don't own our mistakes, we don't learn from them and we can't do anything about it. So, firstly, measure it, benchmark it. There are tools to do this. Secondly, do your reading, do your research, and bring in tools to do this. And thirdly, open up dialogue with your team around why they are not feeling safe. Okay. Now, the reasons for you to do all of this, it doesn't actually matter what it is you're trying to achieve as an organization. Psychological safety, improving that will help you get to where you're going. And that's really the first episode of Angela's Talks.